is that? Who's that guy?
Who?
The guy on the screen.
Kratz?
Oh, Kratz? Erik Kratz?
Don't mess with me, Scott. I was just in Pittsburgh, and there's a lot of fighting in Pittsburgh, okay? So
You have your black and yellow on, so I mean.
Black and Jet. When that song first came out, a lot of the Latinos would sing it, and one of the American guys I played with thought it said blackened jello. Because it's black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
So blackened is when you add what spice?
What's usually Cajun-y style.
Right.
Usually like a fish yeah.
So Cajun spice on top of Jello. Sounds disgusting.
Doesn't sound good.
Wash it down with a little purple drink. But anyway, good to see
I'll
you
try
back.
it once.
Yeah, you'll try anything once.
You guys had shows while I was gone? All right.
Yeah, we did. We almost canceled FT, but we decided to keep running with it in your honor and just hoped that you would return. How was Pittsburgh, though? So you had had you ever been to a game as a fan?
Not at Pittsburgh.
Okay, so how was the fan experience? Because fan experience at the park is supposed to be great.
Fan experience watching the players play was kind of meh. Paul Skeens was awesome. I saw some of the most hideous base running on the game that you guys called in the playback. I don't understand it. I saw our boy McCutchen, who, by the way, for BP, smells delicious. He gave me a hug. I smelled good the rest of the night. His diving play. The fan experience, look, like it was exciting for my kids because they were like kids, like they were like minis when they would like the pierogi race. And I came back in 16 for a minute and like then they were really into like the pierogi race and everything. The fan experience walking around the stadium is awesome. The fan experience during the game, I'll give it a 5. Like they tried to keep you involved. There just wasn't a lot of fans there, but man, the fans that are there, they love their Pirates. And it's a shame that not many people showed up for the Paul Skeens game. Like I would have loved to have seen more. And I know they want to be out there because everywhere you go, there's Pirate stuff all over there's people wearing Pirate stuff. No Pirates advertising. That would be on the team.
Wait, hold up. So who tried to flex harder? You with, I got BP passes and hugged McCutchen, or Jason Grilli, who had to show off his gold card?
I would say Cheese, because Cheese put it out on the internet. I just did mine like on the warning track. I did get yelled at though because I stopped and talked to Stephen Brault and Michael McHenry before. And so the person that was taking us to the warning track for BP left. And so I was just like, all right, I just took my family. We just walked down the warning track, like down right field. And the guy comes up to me. He's like, you can't do that. It could have been dangerous. I was like, sorry. So we were standing behind the line. Okay. I'm not Cheese with his lifetime pass sitting behind home plate.
Well,
that made me go find mine.
Your pass?
Yeah, because I'm like, I know I have this somewhere.
Did you find it?
I did, but it took some digging.
You should keep that.
I mean, obviously I'm going to keep it, but
like
I just, one, I've never used it. And two, like it's just put somewhere. And I was like, man, I think I know where this is, but let me go see.
Don't you want to use it?
You want to know how old mine is too? So his said, the commissioner, I think, of Major League Baseball, I think what his said on it was the commissioner of Major League Baseball. Mine says the ball clubs of the American and National League. That's how old mine is.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how old.
What year did you get it?
What do you have to have?
12
years?
10?
Oh, it's 8 years.
Like,
It is.
So I got it
like
2007, 2008-ish.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it literally said, I wish I had it. I don't have it, but it says the ball teams of the American and National League for something service. Material.
Let's go to a game with your pass. Let's go to Tampa.
We can go to any game you want to go.
We should go to Tampa and just use it one time.
But I don't know. So some guy on the internet, I don't know if this is right or not. He said you can go to any game, which is true. You can go to any game. But he said you get the best 2 seats available in the. No. I don't think that's right. I think you just get 2 seats.
No, 2 seats.
But the guy on the internet was like, some guy on the internet was like, you get the 2 best seats in the ball. I'm like, that's not right because they'd have to put you behind home plate.
No, it's not the 2 best. From what I was told, it's not. I know I don't have one, but the 2 best. What you get is you get 2 seats outside of a certain area. I know Camden Yards, they take the minor league lifetime pass. So if you have a minor league lifetime pass,
I don't have that one.
Think about that. Camden Yards. But it's like the concourse on the lower bowl above the concourse. They don't put you in the premium seats. And that's what they said they extend to the big league lifetime pass too. So you can sit in the outfield, you can sit anywhere. Like you get tickets, they let you in. It's cool. It's a flex.
At the Rays, it's a minor league park, so there can't be any bad seats. There's only like 10,000 seats.
Exactly. I'm excited to go to a game. It's history
With
too.
AJ.
Yeah, I would love to. Maybe we'll do a show from there. It's definitely on my list. I'm getting to Tampa Rays game at some point this year. They play the Yankees coming up this weekend. Anyway, it's only been 5 minutes. Let's charge.
Charging the mound.
And we're back in Pittsburgh for the Nationals and the Pirates. The Nationals got into it with some teams last year, and they're doing it again this year. Jorge Lopez plunks Brian Reynolds, then chin music to Andrew McCutchen. He gets booted from the game. Bench is clear. Nothing happened. 3-game suspension for Lopez. He'll appeal it. Davey Martinez on the National side gets a 1-game suspension. You can't appeal that when you're a manager because you work for the team, which is in cahoots with the league. So there's all of the suspensions. And Lopez said, I apologize.
Davey Martinez has to get suspended because when your pitcher gets ejected,
yeah,
manager auto 1 game.
Auto 1 game, no appeal. I just wanted to make it clear.
That's auto.
He apologized and said, I didn't make any purpose pitch right there. Been trying to find my way with my delivery. Been trying to find my way through the whole season. It's really miserable to have that happen. I regret what just happened. We also posted McCutchen hitting a dinger off Lopez late last year.
But that doesn't carry. He didn't pimp it or anything. I mean,
no,
he
I
just ran
agree.
around the bases. I mean, there was nothing to that. I was watching this on the Pittsburgh last night, and they tried to make a thing of that. And no, I don't see that. There was no over celebration. And Pirates were in last place. The Cubs were fighting for a spot in the playoffs. He gave up 4 runs, but I don't think that was he hit Reynolds with a cutter. Now this one's bad. I mean, listen, did it get away from him? Yes, but I mean that ball, that's at his head, dude. Like I'm sorry, and McCutchen's like, man, you're at my head. Like if you want to hit, and he's like, whatever. But like you just can't miss at the head. I'm sorry, like you're a big league pitcher. You want to hit a dude, hit him in the ribs, fine. Don't hit him. Don't get up here. You get up here, that's when this happens.
I have a hard time believing it was on purpose. I watched the video of the home run last year. Like, Kutch didn't do anything. Like, Kutch is so well respected in the game. I have a hard time believing he's going to ruffle anybody's feathers. And I haven't played with Jorge Lopez for a while. He was such a nice guy. I know all this stuff happened last year when he threw his glove into the stands. So I know he's going through stuff. His ERA and everything and his control shows he's struggling with control. In the moment, I did not think it was an intentional pitch. But I do believe that there is a lane somewhere in there. There's a lane for Major League Baseball to be able to protect players and to kind of like lock guys in on the mound a little bit. I'm not saying it would help in this situation, but now Jorge Lopez threw a pitch over 92 miles an hour up here. If it happens again, is there more of a fine? I don't know what that is. Is it an automatic base, even though Kutch didn't get hit? That was so scary. The slow motion makes me like not even want to hit. So it's one of those things that I just wish. Yeah, I don't believe he did it on purpose, and it'll probably be a 2-game suspension. They'll lower the fine down.
Do you think it was intent?
No.
No? You thought he just had bad control for a couple batters?
I just think it got away from him, which is fine.
He hit
but
Reynolds too.
But again, it's up here. It doesn't matter if it's on purpose or not. If you get up here on a guy, you're going to get him pissed. It doesn't matter. Like if you get by someone's head, you're going to get pissed. I mean, listen, I've got hit a lot of times on purpose, and as long as the guy kept it down from about the armpit down, all right, I got you. I'm going to go kill your second baseman, though. And he better look out because there better not be a ground ball hit, right? But I was like, okay, that's fine. You hit me. We're going to hit your guy. And then they would get mad, right? Mm-hmm. But no, as long as it wasn't up here. When it got up in here, that's when it was like, wait a second, dude. You want to throw at me? Mm-hmm. Hit me in the thigh, hit me in the back, but don't get up here. Because when you get up here, they're talking about lives and faces and stitches and things that are really bad.
Should we have a harsher penalty for any pitch that gets in that area?
Sometimes the ball gets away.
Okay. You know how in basketball there could be a flagrant foul and you could like punch someone in the face basically by accident, but it's like, well, you punched him in the face. Yeah. What about in this case? No?
You punched him by accident? I'd love to be like a basketball player. You could just go up to somebody and be like, I have the ball. Watch this. Elbow to the jaw. Knocked him out. Mm-hmm. Oh, flagrant foul. 2 shots.
Listen, those people know. Those guys are making those decisions, and they know. I feel like players know when it's intentional and when it's not. Do we get it wrong? Absolutely, we get it wrong. There's nothing more satisfying than what AJ said. You slide hard into second after you just got hit on purpose. That's satisfying, but it's even more satisfying when your pitcher puts one in the guy's ribs, and he looks back at you like this, and you go, why don't you go blame your pitcher for hitting our guy? And then he's just like, oh, man. And you're just going to first. Like, you're just like it ended there. But now too many people step in, and it's just warnings here, warnings there. There's a way to curtail it where it doesn't happen as much.
We almost never get fights.
Well, because you can't slide into a guy. You can't run over the catcher. Guys very rarely.
There's no greenies.
Why even clear the benches then?
Well, you got to stand up for your guys.
Yeah.
Listen, McCutchen goes down the way he is. He's obviously the leader of the Pirates. It's at his head. He looks at the guy. As soon as he looks at him, and I'd give McCutchen a lot of credit. He kind of turned and said, like, Lopez was this way. He turns this way, and he's like, man, or so he says, like, you got to be kidding me, or it was in my head, or whatever he said. You could kind of read his lips. But then once his team sees that, and then I think Lopez said something to him, like I'm sure he said, oh, I didn't mean to do it or whatever. But as soon as Lopez says something back, and then McCutchen looks at him, that's when it goes. Mm-hmm. Right? And Tommy Pham is on the Pirates. And he told us he's always ready to go. And O'Neill Cruz had to grab him, the Avatar.
You don't want to mess with Tommy Pham.
No, Tommy Pham's my pal. Mm-hmm.
I got to say hi to Tommy when I had my BP passes on the field. He came up to me. He goes, hey, he calls a lady over. He goes, I want you to meet somebody. He goes, Mom, this is Kratz. Hey, Tommy Pham's mom? I see where Tommy gets his fire. She goes, where do you think Tommy gets all his, what did she say, orneriness or something? She said, he gets it from me. The fire's from me. And I was like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I got to meet Tommy Pham's mom.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that. And I like how Tommy was excited to introduce Kratz to his mom.
Mm-hmm.
I was excited about that. That tells a lot about a guy.
It does. Yeah. Hey, meet my fam. That means you actually really like the person. So you're in, Kratz. BP passes and meeting Tommy Pham's ma and having him excited to introduce you to a family member. You won that trip. You won that day.
No, really won the trip. He's got the gold card. He won the trip.
True.
He'll win other trips. And I was glad I got to see Skeens pitch. So that was big day for me.
Yeah, a lot of bucket list items checked off. All right, when we swing back, we'll talk about the Diamondbacks. Jesse Friedman, Snakes Territory host, swinging by. All right, Kratz, let's keep that smiling face on you. And this is actually a perfect moment to be able to say, you know what? I'm going to write in to Storyworth and share my memory of going to PNC Park with my son. And what would they do?
They would easily just be like, here's an email. Answer some of these questions and we'll put this John in a story. Like, that's why we took the trip. Our oldest son is a senior and he's going off to college. So my wife's like, let's take a trip. We went out to Ohio first and then we came back on our way through. We hit a Pittsburgh Pirates game and then we did a little golfing. So it's 3 days of memories. Now, you know what? Will they remember them all? No, they'll probably remember, dabbing up Tommy Pham. But if we put it in a book through Storyworth, they'll remember it forever.
And even if you're too lazy to write in the story, you can actually also just send them your words, right? Audio recording over the phone, and they'll transcribe it for you. So check it out, FT Fam. They'll turn that into a nice little scrapbook style memento, or gift that you can pass along for Mother's Day. Give all the moms in your life a unique, heartfelt gift that you'll cherish for years. Storyworth. Right now, save $10 on your first purchase when you go to storyworth.com/foul. That's storyworth.com/foul to save $10 on your first purchase. This is a good memory. Liam Hendriks taking a different route on his rehab assignment in Portland. He rented a food truck for the Yard Goats.
Yeah, it's cool.
Hartford
for both
Yard
teams.
Goats. Not for the actual
Hartford.
goats. Not for the actual goats.
What's Portland's name? Sea Dogs?
They used to be. I don't know
Sea
if they
biscuit.
So,
Sea Dogs.
so for the Sea Dogs and the Yard Goats.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
And everyone
the
who
people
works
that
there.
work there.
That's cool.
And the people
That's
that
cool.
work there.
I mean, it's cool.
That's unique.
You're not too impressed?
I mean,
What?
if he really wanted
Really?
to impress me, he would have rented out like a restaurant, had everyone go to like a nice, super nice restaurant. I mean,
Like after the game?
like after the
I
game,
have
yeah,
never-
like rented out like a Capitol Grill or a Ruth's Chris or I mean, listen, renting a food truck is cool. It's good. It's a nice gesture. Liam, it's a very nice gesture.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's cool.
But you don't have to then go and like sit with people after the game.
People would like to
I
sit
think
with
it's
Liam
pro.
Hendriks and hear him talk.
True.
I think that's pro. I got it. PRO.
Hey, we've got Jesse Friedman joining us right now, the new host of the new show, Snakes Territory, which did its first live show last night. So check it out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Jesse, great to have you on. Let's just start really nice and simple here. What kind of grade would you give the Diamondbacks through the first few weeks of the season?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you guys for having me. Really appreciate it. A grade for the first few weeks of the season. They're coming in to today. They're playing right now, but they're coming in today 11-7. I would probably give them an A-. Feels roughly appropriate. Granted, the Diamondbacks are a fourth place baseball team currently, which maybe we'll get into later, just how wild the NL West is currently. But just in and of themselves, they have played pretty well to start the season. As I said, they're 11-7. That's a pretty good place to be 18 games in. Certainly it hasn't all been perfect. The starting rotation is something that we could get into as an area of improvement for this team. Certainly there were high expectations for this rotation coming into the season after the signing of Corbin Burnes. Several guys in this rotation have not quite performed up to where you would maybe expect to this point in the season. But in really all other facets, the bullpen has been quite good up to this point in the year. The offense, I believe, is fourth in baseball in runs scored entering today. And this Diamondbacks defense tends to be pretty good year in and year out as well. So they're clicking on most cylinders right now. And I think if you got this rotation to where a lot of people think it could eventually be, you could be looking at genuinely one of the best teams in all of baseball.
So what are we missing? What is the non-Arizona following media missing in the sense of like I see that Corbin Carroll's leading the team in homers, runs, stolen base, different categories. Are we missing something that like everybody in the nation should be watching right now?
Corbin Carroll has certainly gotten the vast majority of the attention from this team, and rightfully so. I think someone who probably deserves more attention is Geraldo Perdomo, a Diamondback shortstop who's been a pretty solid player in this league over the past few years. But the start that he is off to this season has been extremely impressive. Entering today, he was hitting .311 with a .907 OPS. And currently, the Diamondbacks are without Ketel Marte, who was certainly their best player a year ago, one of the best players on this team for quite some time. And he's been out since April 4th. So it's really the majority of the season that the Diamondbacks have been without their best player. And the guy stepping into the number 2 spot in the lineup has been Geraldo Perdomo. And historically, Perdomo has been a guy who could give you a quality at bat, but was not necessarily going to slug a ton, was not necessarily, most of his hits are going to be singles. He's going to hit singles and draw walks. But what we've seen so far this season has been really a different version of him. He already has matched his home run total from a season ago with 3 homers so far in this young season. And he just seems to be driving the ball with more authority. And because of him, the Diamondbacks really haven't missed a beat, with Ketel Marte currently on the injured list.
Ketel Marte is the year in and year out possible MVP favorite. He was top 3 last year. Does Corbin Carroll slide into that role now? And not just because of what he's done this small season, sample size, but also after he made his swing change partway through the year last year, going back to get on top of the heaters. Do you think he's an MVP candidate?
It's hard, Erik, to watch what Corbin Carroll is doing on a day-to-day basis right now and think anything different. I mean, this is a guy who, for those people who like wins above replacement as a way of measuring player performance, Corbin was number 1 on both Fangraphs and Baseball Reference as of the start of play yesterday, talking about, according to that metric, the best player in the league, right? And certainly this is a guy that we've seen in this conversation in the past. Last year, not so much, right? He had such a brutal first half of the season that even with a pretty stellar second half, he just wasn't going to be in that conversation. But in his rookie season, when he was rookie of the year and had 25 home runs and 54 stolen bases, he did finish top 5 in MVP voting that season. And back then, I certainly would not have been surprised if Corbin became a legitimate candidate to win the award at some point in his career. And what we've seen so far with the swing stance change that you mentioned, he seems to be kind of downplaying the impact of that. But it's hard as an outside observer not to associate how well he's playing right now with what is a pretty drastic change to his swing stance that he made. He is crushing anything and everything, including pitches at the top of the zone, which has been kind of maybe the one hole in his game that you could have identified a couple years ago. That does not seem to be a hole any longer. So I think it's still early, certainly, to be having these conversations. But in my mind, Corbin is absolutely a viable MVP candidate.
All right, we're talking about all the things they're doing well. What's the Achilles heel of this team? Is it the bullpen? Because the bullpen wasn't great last year. They didn't do a lot to address it this offseason. Is that the one thing you look at? I know the starters haven't been doing great, but Corbin Burns is going to be fine. Gallen is going to be fine. Merrill Kelly is going to be fine. Fott's going to be fine. Eduardo Rodriguez is going to be fine. These are veteran guys. Is it their bullpen that's their one thing where you look at and say, this has to be right for them to compete with the Padres, the Giants, and the Dodgers?
You know, for the vast majority of this team's existence as a franchise, I think you could look at the bullpen as kind of always being their Achilles heel. And certainly last year, there were some issues. Once again, Paul Sewald was hurt for a while, and then when he returned from injury, was good for a time, and then just really hit a rough patch in July. And the Diamondbacks really didn't have a great situation at the back end of games the rest of the way. What we've seen so far, though, AJ, is what I think is a pretty good bullpen. We'll certainly see whether this is sustainable, but the Diamondbacks acquired AJ Puk at the trade deadline a year ago, and he was outstanding in the second half. He hasn't been quite as good so far this season, but the stuff looks still pretty darn good to me. I think he's going to be fine. And I think the real story with this bullpen is the emergence of Justin Martinez, a guy who some people are maybe starting to hear about more and more. I think MLB.com recently had an article about how his splitter is effectively a 90-mile-an-hour knuckleball. And beyond that, he's throwing 101, 102 miles an hour on the regular with his four seam and his sinker. So Justin Martinez hasn't allowed a run yet this season. Shelby Miller, a guy the Diamondbacks picked up over the offseason, invited him to spring training. He has been outstanding as well. He has not allowed a run so far this year either. So between those guys and AJ Puk still being here is, I think, a pretty solid weapon at the back end. The bullpen's been all right so far, and I don't really have a reason to think it's going to change anytime soon.
It makes sense. They brought in some veteran guys to help, obviously. And you should read, what was it on? We did a newsletter not long ago, named 5 guys to look out for, and one of them was Martinez, because he throws 100 with a 90-mile-an-hour sinker, splitter thingy, whatever you want to call it. Can Puk, though? Here's my question. Shelby Miller got off to a great start. I love Shelby Miller. I caught him for a couple years. Great guy. Can he keep it up? Can AJ Puck keep it up? These are guys that have kind of had a little bit of up and down, especially in the bullpen. Bullpen's so volatile. It can change literally week to week. Can these guys keep this up for 162 games?
I guess that's the $1 million question, right? I think it's totally valid to wonder if they can, right? You're absolutely right. AJ Puck, since I think around May of last season has been one of the best relievers in all of baseball. But before that, he was not that, right? He made some adjustments to his pitch arsenal early last year in Miami and really started to throw the ball well. The Diamondbacks wanted to trade for him, and so far so good. But yeah, he's only been this version of himself for probably a little less than a calendar year. And certainly Shelby Miller as a guy who was, a non-roster invitee just about a month or so ago, right? You certainly need to see more from these guys, I think, to feel great about it. But certainly what we've seen so far, it's as good of a place as I've seen the Diamondbacks bullpen in at this stage of a season for maybe as long as I can remember. This has certainly been the Achilles heel for this team for many, many years past.
Can this fourth place team win the division?
They've got a lot of ground to make up already, right? It's outrageous what's currently happening in the NL West. You guys might have already talked about it. I believe entering today, the 4 best records in Major League Baseball are all NL West teams. It is the Padres, it is the Giants, the Dodgers, and the Diamondbacks. Granted, I think a few other teams are tied with the Diamondbacks entering today. But it's unreal what we've seen so far in the NL West to start the season. I think if you'd asked most people entering the year what the best division in baseball is, I think the NL West would at least have been a popular choice, probably the most popular choice. But I didn't expect this. Like, I did not expect the Giants to be what they've been so far. And even the Padres, after the offseason that they had, you kind of knew that the top end talent was there, but they lost a whole lot of depth over the offseason. And somehow that really has not held them back at all so far. So I think it's too early to get too wrapped up into what the standings look like right now. But frankly, the odds are certainly stacked against the Diamondbacks in winning the NL West. The Dodgers, of course, being, I think, the primary deterrent there, but also the Padres and Giants looking pretty good early in the season as well.
It's never too early, by the way. It's never too early to look at the standings. Trust me, it's never too early because you got to win games. But the other thing is, the NL West hasn't really started playing each other yet. Mm-hmm. The Rockies are taking the brunt of it from everybody right now, but the other 4 teams haven't really started to play. The Padres and the Giants and the Dodgers and the Padres, they haven't really gotten into it yet where they're playing the 13 times yet. So it's a little bit early to say, oh, this team is better than this, because they're going to start beating up on each other at some point. And when they do, whoever comes out of that scrum is who's going to win the division.
Yeah, I want to remind Jesse about a quote that we got when we were at Diamondbacks camp from Kevin Ginkel. He said he feels like the Dodgers tighten up a little bit when they play the Diamondbacks. Did you catch that quote?
I did. Yes, I do remember him saying that. And I think there's some truth to that. I mean, I've covered pretty much every Diamondbacks Dodgers game in person here over the last few years, whether in Arizona or over in Los Angeles. And the Diamondbacks have played the Dodgers really tough over the past few seasons. Granted, part of that is that Christian Walker would just turn into a superhuman every single time he entered Dodger Stadium. He had one of the most unbelievable 3-game series that I've ever seen there last July. I think he hit 4 home runs over the course of those 3 games. So it'll be interesting to see what it looks like without him on this team anymore. But yeah, I don't think that the Diamondbacks are intimidated by anyone in this league. And based on what we've seen from them so far, and certainly what this starting rotation, I think, still could be if Corbin Burns and Zach Gallen and some of these guys that you expect to be really good kind of find their way. I think they certainly can compete when they're playing the Dodgers.
It's going to be a fun division to follow if the Giants stay involved here too, because that's really the extra team that I don't think most people expected to be
Nobody
off to
was
a
counting on
start
the Giants
like
to be off to the start they were off to. So
exactly. They're having a good series against Philadelphia too. Jesse, this was great. Thanks for joining us. Congrats again on Snakes Territory. Keep it up. We'll talk soon.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Jesse Friedman, host of Snakes Territory. So go check it out. Jack Summers on there with him multiple times per week. You can also follow Jesse at Jesse and Friedman, Friedman. But go check out the show. It's awesome. They'll pop on live after some games as well. We'll be right back. All right, let's hit the number one dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. You want thicker, stronger, faster growing hair. Who are you going to call?
Nutrafol.
It was good. It was really enthusiastic enough.
I don't listen. I love Nutrafol, but you got to talk to Kratz. He's the one with no hair. I got too much hair. Kipnis was on here yesterday. Like, I need that. He's like, I'm going to steal Kratz, is what he said. So listen, I got too much here. I had to get it cut again because, geez, it won't stop growing.
Well, this is for future you, but if not, no.
Trust me, there are times where I wish I looked like Kratz. Well, I never don't want to really look like Kratz, but I mean, had the bald head like Kratz because there's less maintenance. You don't got to get your hair cut. You don't got to do anything. But with Nutrafol, it grows back. So let's go, Kratz.
I don't know. I'm gonna let you peek. I'm gonna let you peek under the hood a little bit. It's starting to grow in. I'm just saying. I mean, AJ's already intimidated by me a little bit because I'm bald. He's like not as intimidated, but when I have flowing locks of hair, when I'm able to put my hair in a ponytail, AJ's going to be like, I don't even know. Like I'm intimidated by Kratz. That's what he's going to say. So I'm hopeful it's coming in thicker.
I'm excited. I cannot wait for that. I can't wait to
see him have the bald top and then the ponytail on the back. That's going to be amazing.
I want to see him like a wrestler or something.
Yes.
Some wrestler, crazy.
Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania.
Yeah.
The bald top with the long hair in the back. Yes.
Kratzamania.
For it.
Start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol. Check it out for a limited time. They're giving our listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com, enter promo code FOUL. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol, spelled Nutrafol.com, and then promo code is FOUL. All right, we're back. So here we are. We're going to do better than box scores coming up in a moment. We've got Ump Show to look forward to, just giving everyone the rundown for the rest of the day. And we're going to talk to Scott Servais, who currently works in the Padres organization, but of course was a longtime part of the Seattle Mariners. So we're looking forward to that one too. When he was with the M's, I don't think we had him on. Right? No.
We didn't have him on when I was on.
No. Probably had about half the skippers, but we never had Scott on. So this will be a good conversation with us. We'll get a check with him, obviously, on how things are going with the Padres. I mean, he joined a team that's frankly better.
I got more Mariner questions than I do Padres.
Okay.
Time.
Better than box scores, let's run through a bunch of things. And let's start with Spencer Strider. He's back. 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. Gave up the Vladdy Jr. home run. Punched out 5. And the Braves lost.
Because they can't score.
They're 5-13 on the year.
That's better than the White Sox.
What are the White Sox?
4-13.
Oh, so barely. But they are better than the White Sox right now. Strider also hit 500 career strikeouts. So he's the quickest primary starter to get to 500. In terms of innings, right? So 334 innings to get to 500 Ks, which is actually by far the fastest. Do you guys know who number 2 is? And if you saw him already, just let me know. I was surprised to see this one as number 2.
It would have to be like a Kershaw or something like that. Yeah, I was going to say.
Freddie Peralta, who's not like a strikeout machine. Like he's got a good K rate.
He was back when he was a bullpen guy.
After I left, he hasn't struck out as many, so it was all on me. He started out early, striking a lot of dudes out.
Also, let's not forget, strikeouts are way different now than they used to.
Well, that's why I was saying.
Let's put a giant asterisk on this thing, because now every guy in the lineup strikes out 200 times, and this is the old back when I played. If you struck out 100 times, teams were like, this dude strikes out too much. Like, we can't. David Ortiz when he was with the Twins. Tom Kelly. David Ortiz strikes out too much. We can't play this guy. He strikes out 100 times. Now, if you don't strike out 150 times, there's something wrong with you.
Yep. Well,
100 of them got to be looking because you're like, I'm going to take that fastball right down the – oh, I was looking for the breaking ball.
And do you know who's next on the list after Freddie? It's Ohtani, then Glasnow, then Cease.
Yeah, it's all guys now.
Fastest. Yes.
Everybody.
Because guys used to not strike out. They'd be like, we're not striking out. We'll take one in the dome before we strike out.
What's wrong with the Braves?
They can't hit.
Are they going to hit? They lost 3-1. Jeff Hoffman picked up the save. He didn't blow a kiss, which I'm disappointed about.
Nah.
Why? They did the same thing. I was on Braves radio yesterday, and they were like, don't forget, Hoffman also got spurned by the Braves.
No, but the Orioles were the ones that it got out about. So
yeah, but the Braves, it got out eventually, but also the Orioles do this still for years now.
Yeah, I think he was going to the Orioles.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. The Braves kind of came in, but I think it was the Orioles. And by the way, this is 1 for 12.
Can you read that for the crowd that does audio later?
I'm just going to say codify. It says Olsen went 1 for 12. I'm just saying. You got a hit. So I don't know where they came up with 0 for 12, but I might be off.
So it's 1 for 12 with a single and 11 strikeouts from Harris, Riley, and Olsen in that game. Chris Bassett looked like...
Chris Bassett was dealing.
Woo! The Cy Young contender in there.
By the way, Naylor just hit a freaking bomb.
Yeah. Arizona's up. What is it now? 6-2?
6-2 in the fifth. Corbin Carroll, 4 stolen bases already.
MVP candidate if he stays healthy.
Listen, if they played the Marlins every game, I know this is not what we're talking about with the Braves, but if the Diamondbacks played the Marlins and Cabrera was pitching, they might steal 15 bags a game because every time they get a dude on, they're like, go, go, go.
Well, they didn't want Cabrera to focus on base runners. They just wanted to focus on pitching. I'm kidding.
Probably.
It's based on yesterday's little thing. Just focus on
They're probably
one
calling
thing.
the pitches to him. And so they're just saying, I'm sure Kratz didn't hear that. Did you hear that yesterday? The Marlins in the minor leagues are calling the pitches for the catchers so they can only focus on offense. Yep, that was exactly my reaction. That was exactly my reaction right there. I was
One
like,
fan
what?
in our comment after it, when we posted it, said that we're picking on them.
We're not.
They're trying to be different. Kratz, let them try to be different. They don't want their catchers to have to do half their job anymore.
That has happened before. Pitching coaches have done that before. I even talked to Joe Kerrigan was trying to call pitches in the big leagues for the Pirates. That's why if you look back at box scores from 2010, the Cardinals would absolutely waylay the Pirates. It wasn't because they weren't good. It was because Joe Kerrigan's over here like this. Changeup. Curveball. Fastball. That is not the recipe for success for a team to grow and build. You need to let your catchers, who are going to be catchers in the big leagues, learn how to call a game. That is not okay. Okay, Marlins? We're not picking on you. It's not okay. You already fired a really, really good pitching development guy in Jeremy Powell, who built up all of the guys you have now. Max Myers, Alcantara, Cabrera, who was pitched. These guys that are coming up and helping your team now, he worked with all those guys. You fired them. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Teach the guys how to do it so they can do it in the big leagues. Sorry. That made me mad. Don't call pitches for catchers.
We had the same reaction. By the way, you know why they're really doing this? So the practice squad knows what pitches to call when they face the real squad. And then if the guys in the real squad don't do good, they can go to the practice squad and learn through the – no, this is the worst thing. Listen, the problem is catchers are never taught to call pitches until they get to the minor leagues because high school – heck, Little League, they call pitches. Go to travel ball at 10 years old, the coach is over there going, they got 2 pitches, dude. Most of them really only have 1 pitch. We're throwing a fastball. Just throw it. We all know it's coming, right? But we don't stop it. And then you get to high school and they call the pitches. Then you get to college, they call every pitch. When they get to the minor leagues, they've never called a pitch. Most of these catchers have never called a pitch in their life because they're always told what to call. You got to learn at some point.
Other front offices are giggling.
No, other front offices are going, man, why didn't we think of that?
Yep.
That's the problem. That Buster Posey, I guarantee, isn't saying that.
No.
That's why that little thing that they're wearing on their waist or on the back of their glove, Major League Baseball needs to make sure, or the Players Association needs to make sure that the rules are very strict, that it has to be used by someone on the field. Because when it starts going to the bench and that little ticker, that little buttons, the little Game Boy controller gets put to the bench, then all of a sudden it's going to get put up to the front office. I don't think that's a recipe for success, but I also think you're going down a bad path when you allow that. I think there needs to be rules about that.
I think we should attach things to players' joints so that we can just control them with a joystick.
But here's my thing. There's no way, and I've had many pitching coaches say, I want to call the pitches. I'm like, go ahead. And then they think about it for a minute. They're like, no, I can't do that. That's too much pressure. But they don't, unless you're sitting behind home plate, you really don't know what the pitcher has. You cannot know. You might have a guy with the best slider in the world, and that day he doesn't have it, and you can't call a slider. You're like, all right, I'm going to try. We get 0-2. We're going to try and throw one 3 feet outside just so he tries to get the feel of it, but he really only has a fastball changeup today. We're going to have to fake some sliders, 0-2, 1-2, when and then maybe as the game goes, he finds it. But the pitching coach over there was like, well, he always has a good slider. Slider. And this dude's whack, ball four. And you're like, he doesn't have a slider. But you don't know that unless you're sitting back there watching the game. And that's what getting to know your pitchers and part of the catcher's job is.
I heard an analytic person once say, and it was like a hybrid pitching coach / analytic person. He said, well, the next one will be a better slider. I'm like, we're not going to find out. We're going to be losing 3-0. And the name of the game is winning. And some days you just don't have it. You can't go to the well all the time. But I heard it. They're like, well, the numbers say that if you just keep throwing it, it's going to be okay. No, we can't do that.
I heard it too. There was a pinch hitter last year who went 0 for $1 billion. And they were like, this time. They were like, the numbers say this time.
Your two favorite players are standing next to each other at first base, by the way, in Cincinnati.
Who's Ellie and who's the other favorite player?
Who plays first base for the Mariners?
Oh, Rowdy?
Rowdy's
in my top 2? Okay. I'm fine with it. All right, let's get to the Dodgers. That was a wacky game yesterday.
Yeah. What's wrong with Bobby Miller?
Right, because some people are looking at the story as, oh, look at the Dodgers, bat around, and Ohtani had 2 hits in the first inning. Like, cool, okay, expected. It's Dodgers Rockies. But I mean, they won by a run. Bobby Miller made his debut.
3 innings.
Did not go well.
Barely got out of the 3rd inning. Then they had to use, Kasparius for 3 innings.
Yeah.
They're going to kill some of these guys. They're going to keep who? Bobby Miller?
Bobby struck a lot of guys out.
So gave up 5 runs? They
6,
couldn't get him through. They couldn't get him through 5 innings. It was what game was I watching yesterday? Gosh, there was a game where the starter went full. Oh, it was the White Sox game. Jonathan Cannon. He's pitching all right. He gave up a couple, but they were winning. I think 1-0 or it was 1-1. It was 4 1/3. They took him out and they gave up 3 runs. Yep. And you could see he was disappointed because he just can I get through the 5th? They took him out. Just let him fit. There was nobody on base. He was going. Just let him go.
Well, that's
it was the 3rd time through, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but his stuff you could tell his stuff was getting better as the game was going. He only had 80 pitches. Let him go. Let him finish the 5th. Walk off the mound.
That's not what it says here. His stuff can't get better partway through the game, AJ. Pitchers can't find a rhythm.
Hold on, Kratz.
Kratz, your microphone is crap.
Someone's coming after you. We're going to reset you. But I'm going to go right to Clayton Kershaw. Nice first outing, making a minor league rehab start. It sounds like he's going to come back quicker than we had initially thought, right? Last year, we thought, he might not pop up until pretty late in the year. He's already on a rehab.
Yeah, he's got 30-day rehab? What is it?
Yeah, so a month. He'll be back in about a month. 30 pitches
got 5
yesterday.
Starts. 5 starts on there?
Yeah, let him do a spring training run. They're not necessarily in a rush.
Yeah.
Although they optioned Landon Knack. If Bobby Miller looks like that, he's not going to have a spot.
The funny thing is we thought the Dodgers had all these pitchers, and now you're like,
It's just weird, right? A lot of them have a story to them.
Yes. So Bobby Miller, 3 innings, 6 earned runs, 7 punch-outs in 3 innings. So he struck out 7 of the 9 outs. But he also gave up 2 homers and 6 earned runs.
against a bottom 3 team in baseball.
And he threw 84 pitches in 3 innings.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of pitches, man. I just don't know what happened to him. He was supposed to be the thing, man. He was supposed to be the thing for the next thing for the Dodgers.
He was. He
Does
still
he
can.
have a dead zone fastball? Because he throws 100 and dudes don't miss it.
Should I text our boy Trevor May and see?
Maybe. I don't know. It's just
If
weird
he's
to me.
running
'Cause,
the numbers?
I mean, Bobby Miller, they've been talking about for a long time being the next guy for the Dodgers. And it's like the last year and a half have been not kind to him.
He's 26. Okay. I'll text Trevor during the show, see if he gets back to us. Let's actually go to his neck of the woods next, even though they're in Cincinnati. Kyle Raleigh is hitting 1 or 2 home runs per day right now. It's, I think, 5 in the last 5 games.
That's what he does. That's what Cal does. He hits homers.
Yeah,
he hits homers and he strikes out and he walks. He's
right before that, what happened?
Oh, you don't say the torpedo. I know he went
He
to
did.
a torpedo.
He just switched.
It doesn't. He also went torpedo bat, small park. Boom.
That's a perfect combo.
It is a perfect combo.
Kratz, have you seen any homers? Do you buy into any bat change for him leading to it, or you think he's just on a heater anyway?
He's on a heater. He does this all the time. The dude's got 100 pumps already in the show. Like, he's barely in the game, and he's got 100 pumps. Like, let's put it this way. Does the torpedo bat work for him? Cool. It worked. If you go 0-for and it doesn't work, or if you're like Kutch, who was hitting with his torpedo bat on Monday, the day I was there for the game, he was like, bro, this thing sucks. He was like, he's like, I guess, like, if you hit it at this area, you do. He goes, but I don't try to hit it there. He's like, I like where my bat is balanced. So, you know what? I would love to have a bat that would get me out of a slump. But is it going to keep me out of the slump? I don't know. I don't think so. I was a career 209 hitter. Cal Raleigh hits dingers. Doesn't matter where he's playing. He hits dingers, and he's on a heater right now.
And we have the perfect guy to ask him or ask about. So Scott Servais was his manager and a former catcher, and he is going to join us next on FT. Kratz is our ultimate model today. What are you wearing today, Kratz?
I'm wearing a True Classic black t-shirt. I wish you could see the whole thing because it just like, I mean, you can see the arms. Like the arms just flow. Like look at look how it's not super like AJ's like, oh, I don't wear my shirts up super high. It's not up super high. It sits where your muscles are.
If it doesn't, why'd you pull it down? Why you keep pulling
it up?
No. Oh,
because his arms are huge. Sorry about it.
Oh, that's what you're saying. I have BP passes and my arms are huge in this True Classic.
Well, you're not wrong.
That's what Scott says. By the way, you missed Paul Sewald making fun of Scott and his arms yesterday. That was a True Classic.
That's it? You don't even have a response to that, Kratz?
I mean, that wasn't really for me to respond. That was for you to respond.
Oh, well, I already gave my reply yesterday to Paul. I said that I paid off AI to make me look good, which is basically what you do to True Classic. That's why it all comes together. You can upgrade your wardrobe and save on True Classic when you go to trueclassic.com/foul. Check it out. We've got the QR code on the screen. Otherwise, you can just hit the website. Check out all of the different shirt options that you have to look jacked like Kratz. Forget overpriced designer nonsense. Skip the cheap throwaways. Get the premium essentials built for real life.
By the way, was it 2 days ago, Scott and I had the same shirt on.
Yeah, that was cool.
Except mine fit me properly.
But the shirt that you wore, do you think the company was like, man, we love looking at it on AJ?
It was True Classic. It was True Classic.
Oh, was it True Classic? And you both?
Yeah, we wore the same True Classic.
True Classic 100% was like, how about Scott just wears them? AJ, you wear your shirts, okay? That's what I'm saying.
Dude, just because you wear your shirts 3 sizes too small doesn't mean they look good.
That's a preference.
His muscles.
That's your preference versus my preference.
His muscles are 2 sizes too big. His muscles are two sizes too big. Maybe his shirt is one size a little bit too small, but his muscles are two sizes too big.
I hope that Scott Servais knows we talk ball. That's all. But anyway, can I do this for 40 seconds because we're not going to have time elsewhere? Jose Quintana signed by the Brewers. How's that going?
So far, so good for him.
In the offseason, there's some signings we liked. There's some we didn't like. We all liked this one. They won 5-1 over a good Detroit team. Just saying.
He pitches really good in Milwaukee.
He does. All right, here comes Scott Servais joining us right now, special assistant with the San Diego Padres, and of course spent a long time running the Seattle Mariners dugout as their manager. Scott, great to have you on here for the first time. And how's life with the Padres? We're off to a very nice start.
Yeah, the Padres are playing great, but I appreciate you guys having me on this morning. Do I need the backwards hat to fit in here? I mean, what do you got?
No, you've got the lettuce, so you're good. I've got this here.
Listen, Scott, people ask me all the time where I wear my hat backwards every day, so I don't have to comb my hair, right? So, because look at my hair. Like, there are days where I'm running late and I just don't have time. So
it's okay. You still got hair. You still got hair. That's a good thing.
True. I don't have an hour a day like Braun does over here to coif his hair perfectly. So, some of us have lives other than this.
Oh, there we go.
You get the
Scott,
full gamut there.
This is why I wear my backwards hat. But it's also, I was never allowed to wear a backwards hat as a kid. And then I started catching when I was a junior in high school. And catchers are the only ones that are allowed to wear their hats backwards. So I was allowed. So there you go.
Ken Griffey Jr. had no problem with it, Kratzy.
He was pretty cool. And Scott, before we get into all the good stuff, do you remember your manager, Ricky Sweet?
Oh, God, yes. Yes, first manager I ever had.
He's been managing since World War I, I think. And he said he managed you, and he's watching the show today, so we got to give Ricky Sweet a shout-out.
Yeah, absolutely. Rick was the first manager I ever had in pro ball. I was playing for the Astros over in Kissimmee, Florida, in the Florida State League. And, you never forget the first. And he was there along with a pitching coach, a guy by the name of Jack Bellingham at the time. Jack was a longtime Cincinnati Reds back at the Big Red Machine days. And those are the guys I started my career with.
That's Kissimmee, right down the street.
That's right.
Right down the street from us, Scott.
Yeah.
You should go check it out.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Kissimmee.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
I know Kissimmee.
Right.
About 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
20 minutes from here.
I've been. Don't worry.
Okay.
I had to find some haircuts there at one point. No joke. Anyway.
What?
For one point.
You went to Kissimmee to get your hair cut?
It's a long story.
Wow, it's a long way out of the way, too.
I will tell it during a break.
All right. Wow. Okay.
Scott,
anyways, let's get back to baseball.
Yeah. Wait.
Before we get into the Padres, because he's going to ask about. I don't really care about the Padres. Padres are doing great. I want to talk about the team he came from.
Okay.
And here's my thing. This is all I want to know. And this is the first question, and I don't know how you can answer this, but you and Dipoto were like best friends, right? So how does that work when he calls you in the office and says, Scott, I love you, you're my best friend, but we're like, that had to be crush you. I just don't know. Like, I want to know. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Well, it took us a whole, 2 minutes to get to that question, AJ. So,
well, I think we jump right in. We dive right in.
No, I mean, things happen. I had a great time. Really enjoyed my time in Seattle. We did a lot of really good things there. It's professional sports. It doesn't always end the way you want it to. But excited about opportunity to get on with the Padres. It's been really good to look at how other organizations do things, what they value. And, I really enjoy spending time with young players, helping out young coaches. So I do have some previous relationships with some of the people here in San Diego. So it's been a good fit. And I appreciate them letting me come on board and help out any way I can. Obviously, spending a lot of time with our minor league players. At this time of year, everybody's kind of getting geared up for the draft. So I've got an opportunity to see some amateur players throughout the country. And it's been good. It's keeping me busy.
That's good. You know what that sounded like? That was a GM answer right there. That was the GM. I don't really want to answer that. I'm going to give
about
you
spirit, AJ.
That's okay. I get it. I know you were a manager a long time. It's okay. I get it. All right. Well, then I got to ask my next question. I'm going to keep asking Mariners questions to answer one.
Oh, geez. Go ahead, AJ.
No, I just have one more. And again, it's another question. Did you feel like I know you guys made the playoffs and you had some runs and you got close. But did you feel like you were given, because we talk about this all the time, and Seattle's one of our favorite teams to pick on, but did you feel like you were given the resources needed from the ownership? And just because, like, I look at this year and even last year, you guys make the playoffs, they don't go out and do anything. They make some small trades, but they don't go get the next piece. This year, kind of the same thing, and we start hearing it from Aaron or fans. Did you feel like as the manager, man, if we just could have done, I'm not even going to name a name, but anything to get the next step, man, I still could be and again, I know these are hard questions, and I apologize, Scott, but these are questions I always want to ask a manager.
Apologize. AJ, you never apologize.
Well, I am, because these are answers to questions I want to hear from people that I never hear asked, and I want to know, because you're human, and I know you have feelings.
Yeah, no, it's I think every organization in baseball, every manager out there, maybe other than Dave Roberts, who's certainly have the cupboards are stocked there with the Dodgers. But every manager out there, you're always looking for ways, how to get better. Does this player help? Does that player help? Things like that. But every organization's in a different spot based on, the market you have, what you're trying to do, where you're at kind of in your cycle of players that are coming through. So again, AJ, I'm not going to give you the answer you're looking for, but I have no problem with you asking the question.
Okay. That's good.
AJ was asking the real hard hitters. I'm going to give you an easy one.
Come on, Kratz, you give me something. Give me a softball. What do you got?
I'll give you an easy one. Is the batter's eye in Seattle too angled? Like, did you ever stand in the box? I know I watched you stand behind the turtle during BP. Is the batter's eye angled? I can't see.
It is angled. To answer your question, I never really thought about it till Teoscar Hernandez made the comment about it, and after he said it, after we had him that one year, I did notice it. I don't know how it affects what hitters see during the game. You stand behind the turtle, it doesn't look like there is an issue. But the biggest thing, obviously, in Seattle, it is a big-time pitcher's ballpark. It's tough to hit. It's certainly tough to hit in April and May. It's a little bit chilly. The ball just doesn't carry. It is perfectly fine, I think, in the summertime as it heats up. But it has proven out to be one of the best pitcher's parks in the league. And I think part of it has to do with the pitching that the Mariners throw out there. It is high-end stuff. They have a lot of good arms, and it's a tough place to score runs. But it is a little bit angled in the outfield. And again, maybe it affects some guys. I don't know. I never really thought about it or noticed it a ton until Teoscar had mentioned something a few years ago.
I loved hitting.
Cal Raleigh doesn't seem like it's an issue. Are we missing something with Cal Raleigh? Because as a catcher, as a fellow catcher, I love watching this dude play. He plays every single game. And on a national level, are we missing how good this guy is? Getting to 100 home runs just last night, and the fact that he's winning Gold Gloves, Platinum Gloves. Should we know more about him across the nation as baseball fans?
He certainly should. I think he's one of the top catchers in the league, and I've said that for a couple of years. And there's a lot of really good catchers in the league. But what he's been able to do, and I got so much respect for Cal. I think you guys both played the position, and you understand the bumps and bruises, and you have to play it not at 100%, probably the majority of the season. And Cal finds a way to post. He gets out there once the game starts. You can see the adrenaline take over, and not just what he does, in the batter's box, certainly got big-time power, but what he's done with the pitching staff there and how he constantly is focused on improving his game. I know a couple years ago he wasn't happy with his framing numbers, and he went out and said, screw it, I'm going to get better. And he went and talked to some of the best guys in the league, and he got better. Now he's one of the best in the league. So my hat's off to him, and I was really happy and excited for him that he got the extension there in Seattle because he deserved it. When you go out and you play and you post, and you're starting to see his voice come forward and be a real leader for that team now, and which they need. He's done an awesome job. And like I said, I'm happy to see he got the extension to stay there, and got a ton of respect for him.
Scott, I know we talked about this a little bit. I had a bunch of your games last year when you were still in Seattle. Do you wish there was a backup? Listen, as a former catcher that loved to play every day, do you think that the new thing is like, have him catch 100 games? Well, Cal's having to catch 130, 125, 130 every year because you were kind of stuck where you had Mitch Garver as his backup. He's still there, and he wasn't really catching because he was supposed to be the DH. Do you think in the long term that will help him or hurt him by having to play 120? Because, listen, I love playing 130 games, and I was fortunate I was healthy all the time. But do you think at some point he's going to wear down?
Oh, I think it does jump on catchers' backs once in a while when you start putting the amount of the workload together on them. I think the tough thing, AJ and Kratz, you probably appreciate this too. It's the games that maybe you're not starting, but all of a sudden you come into the game late. So you think you have a day off, but all of a sudden the game's tied. It's the 8th inning. Oh gosh, we got to run Cal in there to pinch hit him. You feel that as a manager. He's one of your best bats. So it's the day you were hoping to give him off, not just physically, but also mentally. But now you look up, the score's tied. I got one of my best bats in the lineup. Here comes the catcher's spot. You have to pinch hit him. When those games start to mount, where you can't get a full day off, like I said, physically and mentally, then it can wear on you a little bit. But he's in his prime. The one thing I'll say about Cal, I said a ton of respect. He wants to play every day. Even the days he's not in the lineup, he'll come in your office and he'll be pissed off at you and put me in there. I'm good. And sometimes you have to be the grown up and say, no, we're going to give you a day here. But it's those games you have to come in later in the game. Sometimes that's even harder on guys than actually going out and starting the game.
I agree. So thank you for saying that, because it is the worst thing as a catcher when the manager would say, hey, because I was pretty fortunate. Most of my managers would come to me and say, hey, you're playing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is a day game. There's a lefty throwing. We're going to give you that day. And then the 8th inning comes around. And what would make me more mad than anything is you're down 5 and they're like, go pinch hit. And I'm like, even if I hit a home run, it doesn't do. Then I got to go out and catch. Like, just start me. If you're going to stick me in that situation, just start me, because it's the same mentally and same physical, ups and downs as just catching that one inning as it was catching 9.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question about it. AJ, I got to share a story with you, man. So I'm over with the Padres this spring, and I'm in spring training and getting to know guys. I'm spending most of my time on the minor league side, but some of the guys that you've managed against for years, you want to talk to. So I had a little opportunity to talk to Yu Darvish for a minute. And I've always been fascinated by Yu Darvish, from when he came over from Japan and what he's able to do throughout his career. And I start talking to him, and, we're going back and forth. And I asked him the question. I said, hey, who's some of the favorite catchers you've thrown to? And he's rattling off 2 or 3 or 4 different guys. And we're talking about him. And he drops Pierzynski on me. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Pierzynski call you, and you're going to put him in that group? Look at AJ right now. You see that, Kratz? He sits up right now.
Check career ERA, Scott. Check his career ERA when I caught him. Trust me, it was really good.
So we got into that conversation, and I said, well, what did AJ do? How was his Japanese? He said, no, Japanese wasn't good. I could barely understand his English.
There's a lot of curse words in there too, trust me.
Yeah.
Throw the effing fastball, you throw 100. Please throw a fastball.
No, I thought you appreciate that one. And I said, well, if I ever run into you again, here I am. I'm going to have to share that story. But
listen, you and I didn't necessarily get along at all times when we played together, because there was a lot of me yelling at him like, you can be so much better. But now when we see each other, we're much better. We're friends now. We talk. So I love you. He was great. And people ask me, Scott, the best stuff I've ever seen, Yu Darvish, and it's not even close. He threw 8 pitches that were better than anybody. I mean, he could throw any pitch anytime. You could literally walk out of the mound and say, let's invent like a knuckle split curveball, and he'd go and throw it right there on the mound. And you'd be like, oh, nobody could throw that.
Yeah, those guys are amazing when they have that kind of feel. And he has one of those guys, and just an unbelievable career. And I know he's out right now with the Padres. Hopefully we'll get him back soon. But I had to share that story with you. I'm like, okay, I got to put this in the bank. There'll be a time to cash in on it. So I thought today was today.
And Yu Darvish could go out the next day and throw all of those pitches left-handed too. So yes, he is definitely the most impressive. Now back to the Padres. You had said all the things you're doing. What are you the best at? What do you bring the most value at with the organization in the role that you're at now?
I don't know if there's a best thing. I have a lot of experience, and I think whether it's from I've been in a front office before. I've run player development, departments, been a farm director. Obviously, being at the major league level here the last 9 years, you have a feel for people and relationships, and that's what I really love, and I'm learning a lot too. But as far as like what I'm best at, I don't know. I love the relationships in the game, and I'm able to right now give back to young coaches and players. I'm sitting in San Antonio today. I'll go to a Double-A game tonight, watch our team there. So I love the game. That's the biggest thing. And anytime you got a chance to give back, but along the way, I learn. And I think as we've seen the game evolve, certainly in the last 10, 12 years, it's changed so much. I have learned a ton being around and exposed to a lot of really good young coaches. And like I said, they've taught me a few things. And along the way, maybe I've passed on a a few experiences that I've had to them to help them along the way. So again, it's about the relationships in the game. I do love that. I do miss the competition. When you're in the dugout every night, it's win or lose, and the game's on the line, and I really enjoy that as well. But for me, where I'm at right now in my career, I'm enjoying giving back and just trying to help out the Padres any way I can.
Are we failing minor leaguers at this point? You're doing mostly minor league things right now. Are we failing them as a baseball industry compared to where we used to be? Because Major League Baseball's gotten rid of so many teams, gotten rid of development, gotten rid of over half of the draft. Are we failing them? I mean, it came out that the Marlins AAA pitching coach is calling pitches for their catchers so that they can work on that's AAA, so they can work on their hitting. In general, do you feel like, not just saying the Padres or the Mariners, but just in general?
Well, a couple of things I've noticed. I was out in AAA about a week ago. I'm in AA right now. I was in spring training. Certainly the number of players just aren't there. You talked about they eliminated half of the draft, and that it does affect things as far as the depth of players, the number of players you have to pull from. And along the way, there will be a 29th round Erik Kratz that makes his way to the big leagues. And there's not all those players that are there right now. So that's the first thing that you notice. I think on how the game is played, the game's changing. I don't think you can push back against that, whether it's the rule changes or, what's the things that in development, things that are focused on. Obviously, velocity is shot through the roof in the pitching side. It's been interesting for me to see how some organizations value contact rates and just getting the ball in play. Back when I played, and certainly when you guys played, it really drove us crazy to strike out. And you've seen over the last 10, 15 years, the strikeout's just part of the game. And it's been fun for me to continue to learn, see what the Padres do. We put a big premium on getting the ball in play, and then how that can be stressed, throughout, different organizations. But the biggest thing is, certainly the number of players that are down, how the game is played. I think there's a lot of changes to the game that have been good for the game. When the pitch clock first came in play, I'm like, I don't know about this, or limiting the mound visits. It has helped the game, in my opinion. It really has. Now, the biggest change on the horizon here is ABS. We saw it in spring training. I'm watching it at the AAA level here last week. It is very interesting. I love the strategy of the game, and there's a ton of strategy tied to ABS and the challenges. I think that's going to ultimately, when it was brought up to me, I said, this is bad for the game. Now watching it play out and how quickly it happens, it's actually probably going to be a pretty interesting part of the game going forward. So the game keeps changing. We can't stop it. But I also think it comes full circle. And I think you're starting to see, some of the small ball come back into the play at the big league level, stressed at the minor league level. The bunting, the stealing the bases, doing the moving runners, which kind of went away in our game for a long time when it was just about the 3-run homer and slug the ball. But again, it's the game. It keeps changing. I think you have to be smart enough to realize you have to move with it, and you try to stay out ahead of it. And as far as the strategy of it goes, so I love all those things. I really do. And but the ABS thing will be the next thing, Kratzy, that's really going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Couple things, Scott. One, if you're in San Antonio, stay away from the Riverwalk. My wife got the COVID there, so be careful. Last week when I was there for the Gator game and they won the national championship, be careful.
Is she okay?
Yeah, she's fine now, but okay. I mean, she had the COVID. I didn't even know the COVID was a thing anymore, so be careful while you're there. Two, you must have been listening to our conversation earlier where we were talking about strikeouts and how, if you used to strike out 100 times, people were like, gosh, this guy sucks. Now, 200 times on every nine guys in the order is the normal. So I agree. Make strikeouts matter. I'm going to make a shirt that says that. And then last of all, I want to know, we're talking about the minor leagues, and you've managed at the big league level. You've been a director of player development. You're doing player development now. Kratz asked if we're doing a disservice. Here's my question for the minor leagues. They play 6-game series. They have every Monday off, okay? A starting pitcher in your organization will get to the major leagues and have never pitched every 5th day. Not in high school, not in college, not in the minor leagues. And then they get to the major leagues and we're like, oh, by the way, you're starting in 4 days. You've never done this before. This is a development question, I guess. How do we get pitchers ready for something at the highest pressure, the highest everything, and they've never done it in their life before?
It's a great question. It's one of the reasons I can speak only to the Padres here, what we're doing. In AA and AAA, the guy who starts on Tuesday does come back and pitch on Sunday. in that week cycle. So our guys at AA and AAA, there only is 5-man rotations there for that exact reason. I don't think it's fair to ask players, and it always bothered me at the big league level when you'd ask players to do something like you talked about, the most stressful environment you can be in, things they've never done before. And I think one of the things that often happened, we'd have guys that get called up and had never pitched, bullpen guys pitched on back-to-back days. We had guys do it the first time ever at the big league level. It's hard to ask a player to do that, but you have to do it at the big league level. So again, I can only speak to, what the Padres are doing, but at the AA and AAA level, we are on a 5-man rotation. And, as the season gets going and arm strength gets built up, the relievers will go back to back. The minor leagues are there to assimilate the big leagues. And you've got to have gone through those things as a player at some point in your career to know that you've done it, and how you're going to bounce back, how you're going to react to it. What does my arm feel like? I do think, at the minor league level, now that they have the Mondays off, from a player development standpoint, I think it's a good thing. I really do. Certainly for position players, it allows you to, the manager of those minor league teams to, kind of catch his breath. Players, you can kind of reset your bullpen. And now the rosters are different size now than they used to be, and things like that, which are all good, is starting to keep players healthy. But ultimately, the minor leagues are there for the big leagues and getting these guys ready. And hopefully you can put them in situations that they've been through before, so when they get to the big leagues, they can handle it better. But I know some teams are doing that. At the A-ball levels, that's what we do. We keep on a 6-man rotation there. We're just trying to get them through A-ball. And for me, AJ, there's the big separator in player development has been the AA level. It always has been, always will be. Once you get into AA, you kind of cross the line. Now you're on the depth chart for your major league manager, and in the front office there, can this guy help us at some point this year? So minor league at the A-ball levels, it's just about keeping them healthy. But 5-man rotation is crucial, I think, at AA and AAA.
Listen, I'm proud of you for saying that. I really am proud of you, because it's nice to hear that at least one organization understands that, hey, they got to do it before they get to the big leagues when all the pressure's on. Now, Scott, now that I feel like we're friends, this is my last question. Okay?
I need a backwards hat. I got to get the backwards hat, then we'll be tight.
Okay, this is a serious question. I mean this seriously. You're now at the Padres. You just switched sides from Peoria, from the Mariners to the Padres. Jerry Dipoto said the 54% comment. I know he regrets it. But do you feel like A.J. Preller tries to win 100% of the games instead of only 54% of the games? Because honestly, I know what he said and I understand what he meant. But listen, it's just something you can't say publicly. But what's the difference in the mentality of the Padres versus the Mariners? I know they're both trying to win, but there's definitely a difference. Because listen, they both trade a lot, they both do this, but Preller goes and makes the big moves, and it seems like Dipoto tries to make the smaller kind of moves.
Every place is different. Everybody's going to value different things, and how they put their teams together, how they develop players, how they draft. I mean, payrolls are all different, whatnot. So again, for me, kind of seeing what the Padres done, and I just came on board here in January, there are stark differences. There's no question about it. I think the thing that stood out for me first was just the number of people who work for the Padres, and the different departments that they have and how they're built out. It's just different. Doesn't make it right or wrong, or it's just a different vibe to it. But, as far as trying to win every game or winning 154%, whatever, I know Mike Shildt is trying to win every game, and he's done an awesome job. Just from afar, kind of seeing what's going on with our major league team and the staff, and what the job that they did in preparing our guys to get ready to get off to a good start. Every manager says, God, I want to get out of the gate in a good place, keep everybody healthy. But if you can get off and get off on a good start, just the confidence grows. You feel it around the stadium, the fan base, everybody gets excited. And we did an awesome job. Credit to our major league staff for getting our guys ready to go. And the start that we're off to has been fantastic. So again, it's a long season. I get different teams look at different things. They value different things. And for me, it's been a great opportunity to see the other side of things. And again, I'm sure the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox, everybody does it a little bit different. And having spent so much time in Seattle and being a part of what was going on there, I'm just grateful to get the opportunity to do it here and continue to learn.
That's great. That's a great answer. And I also love, by the way, how the Padres will do an excellent job of developing these players, but then they'll trade some of them.
They're not scared to move them.
You got to do that too. The ultimate goal, we're trying to win titles here. That's what everyone's trying to do. You talk to anybody, so
and
they're
there's
not
no
afraid.
better. I don't know. I'm Scott. You've been to Petco before. There is no better atmosphere than Petco Park. I mean, it is rocking. I mean, they're playing well. I mean, it's incredible. It's one of my favorite places to go sit and do a game, watch a game, whatever you want to call it. It's an incredible atmosphere.
It really is. And, you know, from afar, I'm traveling around, and I'll get to see the team here in the next few weeks, spend a few days around it. But on a Monday night, you know, there's 45,000 people in there, and they are going crazy. They're behind the team. And the fun thing about the Padres, there's a lot of personality on that team, you know, from Tatis to Manny to Bogarts to the pitching staff. I mean, there's a lot of players that you can say, okay, that's my favorite player. I'm going to buy that guy's jersey. And as you look at the games on TV or in the ballpark, you see it. Our players really connect with the community there. They've done an awesome job. And again, it's going to be an exciting year ahead. I think the NL West this year probably lines up as the toughest division in baseball. There's a lot of really good teams, good players. Oftentimes it comes down to who can stay the healthiest throughout the year and keep your guys going. But the atmosphere in San Diego is just awesome.
Yeah, agreed. They've made it an event every single game, which is tough to do when you've got 81 home games like that. Yeah. So, yeah, you're in a great spot. Scott, this was awesome. Hope you enjoyed it. Backwards hat or not, we loved having you on. So hopefully again sometime.
Watch out, Scott. Watch out in San Antonio. I'm telling you, watch out. Stay careful with the Riverwalk. I'm just telling you.
Okay, guys, I appreciate having me on. And next time on, though, I will have a backwards cap. Okay, you guys got it. I'm in.
I would love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
that'd be
catcher.
awesome.
He's a catcher. He can do it.
He's used to it.
Yes, exactly.
And back when Scott played, they didn't even have the hard hat. Scott played with the soft hat.
Like Come on, AJ. You had to go there, didn't you?
No, with the bill flipped up. Remember how Rick Dempsey used to have the bill flipped up? Right? Like, that was so cool. That was like the coolest thing ever.
I'm not that old, AJ. Okay, come on.
I know. I know.
AJ, actually, you know, I had to say, like, you got traded for Joe Nathan, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I played with Joe Nathan his rookie year. I was with the Giants 1999, and fantasy football was just coming on board in the late 90s. So we decided to put a league together in San Francisco. I think it was 1999, and Joe Nathan was my fantasy football partner. I'll never forget it. And then all of a sudden, this is when he's just showing up. I think Stony Brook, converted shortstop, awesome dude. And what a career he had. And, you know, I was thinking about, you know, coming on the show. I'm like, damn, I'm pretty sure AJ got traded for Joe Nathan. But, you know, it's amazing the people you meet throughout your years playing, coaching, managing, whatever. Again, it's about relationships. So it's fun to be on with you guys. Appreciate having me on. Hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott, by the way, I was so much better than Joe Nathan. They also threw in two other guys for me. Boof Bonzer and Francisco Liriano. So
AJ, I'm not going to comment about that trade. I'm not going to comment about that trade. One team did really well. The other one, not so much.
That's fine. Listen,
it happens.
I remind that of Joe when I played with Joe. I was like, Joe, you were so bad. They traded me for you and two other players, okay?
He figured it out. He
did. He's awesome.
He
was
great career. Yeah. Thank you, Scott. Safe travels on your trips, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good, guys. Take care. Thanks for having me on.
You too. Thank you. Scott Servais, working with the Padres. We have a Padres show, of course, with Kyle Glazer. Does a great job covering this franchise. It's been off to a hot start. Mike Cameron's on the show. Heath Bell is on the show. It's pretty star-studded. Next up on FT, Michaela Bennett will make her FT debut, talking Royals. Todd Father, I love the way that modern technology has changed the way that we buy, sell, trade cards, even rip packs. They're called slab packs, and they're on Arena Club. No more shuffling through everything. The common cards are all over the place. Stuff's getting folded out and all messed up. Arena Club keeps it nice and tight in your digital showroom. And then when you want that card and you want to show it off, what do? You just let Arena Club know.
Let them know and grab it and take it with you. Show it off online. I think this is huge just because the fact that you talked about cutting the corners. You want to get a card that doesn't break or doesn't have a problem with it, go right to Arena Club. They have everything you need. Easy money right there for really, really good, exceptional cards.
After your pulls are revealed, they'll immediately be placed in your vault for safekeeping or trading and selling. Right now, 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/foul and use code FOUL. That's arenaclub.com/foul, code FOUL for 20% off your first purchase. and our fellow Arena Club friend, Matt Strom,
Oh,
card
Matt
collector
Strom.
extraordinaire,
Man.
had a really cool glove. Did you see this glove?
I did see that, but it can't be legal.
Is it just for fun?
It's
for
got to be
warm-up?
just for fun because there's no way he can use that. I wouldn't have cared, but 9 out of 10 hitters would have said, "Oh, it's too close to the color of the ball, so we can't use that."
I can see too much of the scripture in the Declaration of Independence, which is the glove he has, because apparently he looks like Nicolas Cage. Do you guys see it?
The movie?
No. Do you see Cage and
I see
Strom
it,
looking alike a little?
Yeah. But Cage is more bald on the top, and Strom is more full head of hair.
Yeah. Cage needs a little Nutrafol mix.
Yes. Nicolas Cage made some good movies in his day.
He did. He had a good run. Yeah. I mean, he's still making movies, I think.
And it's a two-tone glove, so he wouldn't be able to use it. No chance.
Let alone the fact that it's white. Face Off, by the way. If you haven't seen Face Off, people out there watching, that is a great flick.
John Travolta.
John Travolta and him, Face Off. Oh. It's a great flick.
Mm-hmm. I remember when it originally came out, I was like too young to see because it was rated R. And I was like, oh, man, I really can't wait until I'm whatever age so I can see Face Off. I was like at the mall and I'm like, oh, this looks really cool. The movie poster's awesome.
It was a great movie. It was a great movie.
Con Air.
I did.
Con Air's a good one.
Con Air is a classic.
Cyrus the Virus.
Mm-hmm. Gone in 60 Seconds, I like.
60 Seconds.
Yeah, he's got a style. It hits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. He's made a lot of really good movies.
Yeah. Matt Strom can pitch. So they're both successful.
Twins.
Twinsies. Hey, we've got Michaela Bennett joining us right now. You can catch her on Royals coverage and covering other teams as well, including there's a pretty good football team there, apparently. You can follow her at MichaelaB_22. Michaela, great to have you on here for the first time. How is life in KC?
It's pretty good. Not as good as we would hoped, but can't complain too much. But life's good. So thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, thank you. So tell us what just happened with the Royals against the Yanks.
MJ Melendez. No, it was a great catch by Cody, but definitely not the best outing, I would say. But the Royals just need to string together a little bit better at bats. And whenever you have, a guy like MJ coming up, and that's who you're relying on, and he's not even batting 100, I think that just kind of tells you where the Royals are at right now.
Wow, poor MJ. MJ just taking strays right here.
Well,
first time on here. Wow. MJ, wait, what? Oh yeah, she lives in Kansas City. Yeah, you'll be at the game tomorrow. Wait, what? Yeah. Okay.
173 OBP. He's 4 for 47.
It's early.
Well, in his career or in the season? Just to be fair.
Both.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's 26.
It's fun we give people grief, Michaela. We apologize.
But he's 26, always below average offensive numbers so far.
Sure.
It's time.
It is time.
Michaela, you're not wrong. Matt Cotrara was on a show maybe 3 or 4 days ago, and he was aware. He's like, we got to get the back on. It's time.
But there's a lot of the Royals. The Royals are doing okay, but Lugo's not having the year so far that he had last year, right? Reagan's has been good, but they're going to miss Brady Singer at some point. I know Jonathan India's been banged up. They're going to miss Brady Singer. Maybe they're having a Chiefs hangover, right? The Chiefs lost to Kratz Eagles.
Maybe. The expectations are high now since they made the playoffs last year. That's the bar. Whereas before, if you would have asked me, a couple of years ago what I thought of the Royals right now, I'd be like, this is great. They're off to a great start. But coming off of last year, knowing what they're capable of now, I think this is a little bit of a disappointment, and they know that they're capable of so much more because of what they've done. So some of the other guys need to step up. It can't all be on Bobby. It can't all be on Salvi or whoever it is at the time. Some of the other guys need to step up, and I will say, as far as the farm system goes, too, they do have a lot of really good guys in the farm system that could come up if guys don't start performing.
Wait, Michaela, are you saying there's pressure now in Kansas City? Because only the one team that lost to my Eagles has pressure in Kansas City. Is there pressure, and do you feel like it's manifesting itself in the fact that it's not this Cinderella darling story like it was last year?
I think so. I think there's just a higher expectation now. I don't know if I would say as much pressure, but definitely a higher expectation knowing that now the bar is playoffs and they've been there. They understand what it's like. Last year, Servais was really the guy that kind of brought them and told them this is what it's like to make postseason. Now the young guys understand what it feels like. So that is the expectation. So I know we're so early in the season, but knowing what they're capable of, I think people just expect more of them now.
Michaela, do you know what May 5th is? And don't say Cinco de Mayo, please. But do you know what happens on May 5th?
Maybe.
The Royals play the White Sox, and they all will be right. They'll get it all turned around, okay? What they got 12-1 against them last year or something crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, May 5th, they just got to survive till May 5th. They have a 4-game series at home against the White Sox, and then, all will be right in the Kansas City world again.
Yeah, it's the AL Central is tough as well, too. I mean, we saw that last year. It's been a little bit different this year. I expected some teams to be better than they are or have started off as, the Twins included in that. But definitely still a long season to go. And I think this series against the Tigers is going to be a good one and kind of a bigger test of how the Royals match up against the rest of the division.
Tell me one thing about KC that you think really stands out as a ball club, and one thing where you're like, they maybe should have addressed more of this in the offseason. I know you want to play to your ballpark. It's a big ballpark. You want guys that can run the ball down. Is there enough pop in the lineup?
I don't think so. I think they should have got a bigger bat. I think they tried to get an on-base guy with India. I'm not sure if we won that trade right now, just with how Singer's doing. But I think they should have got a bigger bat. I also think their outfield needs help. Some of the guys in the outfield, they keep bringing up these quad A guys, and they're just not doing the job. And I think that's a place that they really should have focused more on, as well as a bat. I thought they were going to get someone like Santander. They didn't, obviously. And I think some of the guys in the minors they could bring up and teach outfield. But I think that is one place they're really lacking, especially in a big ballpark like Kauffman.
Wow. She just said they were going to try. She thought they were going to get Santander. That's a big spend. That would have been a big spend. I know, but that would have been a big spend. I know. Mm-hmm. But that's a big spend for the Royals, right? To go for Santander, and with Witt already under contract, with Servais there forever, it seems like. I mean, that would have been a nice fit for them. There's no doubt about that.
It would have been very nice, and I think it would have been an extra power at bat, a good outfielder. I think it would have been really good to help round out the team. So I think you're still kind of seeing those holes being exposed right now.
So Ken Rosenthal's report was 3 years, $66 million for Santander, who ended up with 5 years, 92.5, with so many deferrals that the net present value was 3 years, $69 million. So very similar. And the Royals offer had an opt-out after year 2. So he had already committed to Toronto at that point. So it didn't happen. They ended up pivoting at that point to Carlos Estevez. Do you think that this team is just choosing to build in a way that maybe is similar to the last great run of Royals? And this might be an answer from you and then Kratz.
I think so. I think the Royals' kind of whole organization motto has always been not just one guy, and kind of building around a bunch of guys. When you look back on the World Series team, they didn't have just one superstar. They had a bunch of different guys that could be the guy that day. And it was way more of a team mentality. And I think they're kind of building on that right now. But they do need some of the other guys to step up. Like I said, it can't always just be Bobby or Servais. And right now that's kind of what you're seeing. So it does need to be a full team mentality, and everyone needs to be contributing and pulling their weight. Obviously, not everyone's going to be 100% every single day, but I think it needs to be a little bit more of a collaborative effort than just relying on one guy.
Who is that group of guys? Is it bench guys that need to? Because you think back to our 2015 team, added Ben Zobrist at the trade deadline, added Edison Volquez to kind of help with Yordano Ventura and his maturation during that 15 season. We had elite bullpen And then they added in, they had guys that could come in. I mean, Lorenzo Cain ended up being one of the best center fielders ever and wouldn't play the 8th and 9th inning for us because we would bring Gerard Dyson in to play defense for him. So where is that group of players on this team that's going to make it, what you said, a full team and not just Bobby Witt, a couple RBIs from Vinny Pasquantino, and Salvador Perez's great first half?
Yeah, I think Vinny will, once he gets started going, play a bigger role in that. We saw that last year before he got injured. I don't think he's really reached a good level right now this season. Him, Michael Massey as well. But you also have like some of the, Drew Waters, Freddie Fermin isn't really going right now. And Freddie's a great catcher. So I think getting him going will be really good. You have, like Kevin Biggio, you have Renfroe. I know there's some guys that are hurt as well. But I think people just need to pick each other up as well. Like you said, having HDH back then was just incredible coming out of the bullpen because you knew once you got to the 7th inning, like it was over. As long as you had a lead, like it was over. So I think being able to trust those guys now in the bullpen too. I mean, getting Ursag last year at the trade deadline was really good, and getting him into that closer role this year will be really good. But I haven't really been impressed with some of the other guys in the bullpen. And like you said earlier, Lugo hasn't had the year he had last year. Bubic has been really good. But I think, Lugo and Reagan's, once they get into, like full season mode, Reagan's obviously strikeouts have been great. I tweeted, like, give him the sigh already. But I think once those guys get into a more rhythm, then it'll be a little bit better. But I think it's just some of those, I don't know if I would say borderline guys, but in the lineup, there's a lot of guys that are going up and down from AAA that really could come up and make a big difference in the big league team.
Oh, great insight, Michaela. We appreciate you joining us here for the first time on FT. Hope you had fun. Give Michaela a follow at MichaelaB_22. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, of course. We'll be right back. Show coming in hot. FT fam, let's hit HelloFresh. I mean, you know the deal at this point, okay? And we've talked about Green Chef too. It's in the same fam, so go wherever you want to go. But Kratz, cook us up something nice. Give me something recent.
Well, actually, tonight I'm making a mozzarella crusted chicken cutlet with green beans and I think mashed potatoes, but I have to look at it. And I'm not sure. We might have the pick of what I made the other night. It was, I don't know if you guys have ever made meatballs, but they made it so easy. It was meatballs with a creamy gravy, peas, and mashed potatoes. Oh my gosh, it was delicious. And it's all right there. All you got to do is prepare, like you shave down the onions. It was like bing, bang, throw it in the oven. We had dinner in 35 minutes.
Boom. And that's why Kratz is a genius with America's #1 meal kit. So get up to 10 free meals and a free high protein item for life at HelloFresh.com/FT10FM. One item per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's up to 10 free HelloFresh meals by going to HelloFresh.com/FT10FM. All right, we're back for a sec. And I literally just X'd out of all of my topics for the day. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you really quick. It's a White Sox question, so it's for AJ. Mike Clevenger?
What about him? Did he get let go today?
I think he got DFA'd yesterday.
Oh.
I put it in
my
notes.
question is, okay, Edgar Quiroz come up, and I said about Kyle Teal. I know Edgar Quiroz was doing better in AAA than Teal. Quiroz there today. But why do you even call up Narvaez? Why not just go Quiroz? Why did you call up Narvaez for like 5 days instead of just saying, you know what, it doesn't make – if you're going to make a move, wouldn't you want Narvaez to teach Quiroz as the veteran? I mean, not that Matt Thaiss is, a rookie, but he doesn't have the experience that Narvaez has, right. Kratzy? Narvaez speaks Spanish. Quiroz is from Cuba. I don't know. Maybe I'm way off on this one, but it would have seemed like you would have kept Narvaez as the backup to Quiroz.
What if we had a little service time manipulation going on? He's not going to win Rookie of the Year. Were we close to that a few days ago? Narvaez has the connection with Walker McKinnon on the bench as a coach. I don't know. We'd have to check the service time.
Right.
Show sometimes is for gold stars. How do you say his name?
I don't know.
Mark
Ripperger.
Ripperger?
Did you have 100%? He's the guy? I didn't look at this, so I don't know.
He's got 100% flow, too.
Yeah.
Nice salad.
Umpire scorecard.
Could have bet me a lot of money, and I wouldn't have said he would have 100%.
Really? There were some trolls, or maybe not trolls, maybe they were right, that were like, no, it actually wasn't perfect on .com or StatCast, whatever. It had one or two misses, but I'll go up on scorecard. They're pretty good. So they've got him in the zone when he was supposed to be, out of the zone when he was supposed to be, 100%.
But no, here's my question, though. It says 94%, right?
What was that
so
part?
He missed some balls that were allowed in the EUZ, which is the estimated umpire zone. I don't know what that stands for.
That's the demilitarized zone
between North and South Korea.
Yeah.
But see, one called strike outside the. So did he really? It looks like he did miss. I don't know.
Okay, can we all agree that
this is really cool though to see? Good for you, Ripperger.
There's a border, and then that's where you get the.
Yeah, I know. Ripperger.
So, are we giving love? Are we happy about this?
This is why we haven't had the ABS till now. And this is why we're going to have arguments with it. Are we giving pitchers a 21-inch plate because a 2-inch baseball touches the edge of the supposed strike zone? So now the plate is going to be extra wide and we're doing this for more offense? Or what are we doing it for? So there's a lot of discussion here. Listen, perfection is tough. We need to name it something. When an umpire, we got to come up with something like the ump showman, something like a perfect game. That's cool. It's cool to celebrate.
I don't think they won it because the last guy that got 100%, we don't talk about him anymore.
Yeah, but that was in the playoffs, and he just had his name connected to his buddy's account. Also,
his buddy was connected to his account, and he was,
Yeah, you can look that up. We did plenty on that, and got in trouble for the bad stuff, getting involved with the friend, the bookie, the whole deal. All right, next up. Was this batter's interference?
No.
On Austin Hayes?
No.
Tons of back and forth on a number of different social media platforms with people being like, Ellie De La Cruz should not have been called out from batter's interference here on Austin Hayes. They said no. A lot of people were like, you can't fall back. That's your fault.
Bad call. He didn't touch him. I used to fake getting hit all the time and try to steal that when I know I had no chance of throwing out fast dudes like Ellie. I'd just be like, ah! And everybody like, interference. For replay, they couldn't tell, but he doesn't even touch him. Like, he's not even close to him. That's a bad call for me. I'm sorry.
I don't know if it's a bad call. It's definitely judgment there. I'm going because Cal had to really stand up to throw over him. It was Cal's fault. All Cal had to do was do his normal move, go straight through him. But it is hard to say, okay, I'm going to throw and I'm going to allow my knuckle to hit your helmet. No, not a chance.
You don't do that.
So you do an
let
AJ.
Your glove hit him. You let your glove hit him.
You do an AJ. I mean, go look up some of AJ's flops from behind the plate. Technically, he went across the line that he should have gone across, and the line is not the inside part of the batter's box. Yep. He is choreographed.
You don't get these for nothing.
I think it is interference. I think it is batter's interference.
This is good. I love this. This is good heat.
It's not batter's interference. It's not.
You guys are the experts.
It's not. It's a weak call. It's weak sauce. Back when I played Kratz, you had to spin that wheel to get the interference, right? You had to fake it till you make it, right? But not anymore. You don't even have to touch the guy. You can just yell and scream, and they'll give you whatever you want.
I do agree with you that you had to make contact, or the umpire had to believe that the throw was manipulated and without making contact, they weren't gonna call it. But I still think it's interference. I mean, according to the letter of the law, it is interference.
Yeah.
You got to follow the rules.
You can manipulate them. I didn't try to break the rules. I just tested their elasticity.
Please, people, go and look it up. It's on YouTube. There are some nice, like I'm talking, like a mix between NBA.
There was one in the playoffs
and La Liga.
There was one in the playoffs when I was at the Cardinals where somebody hit me with their bat and I went down like a soft bleep in the rain on purpose. And they came out and gave me the whole potatoes. And I was like, I'm fine. It worked though. The guy had to go back, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, we're good.
Got my call and I'm fine. Play on.
Yep.
Hey, acting's part of the game, apparently.
Yep.
All right. Let us know your thoughts. If you're catching this later on, drop a comment. Otherwise, we'll swing right back on FT. BetMGM locks. Let's just be better. Pap won.
Pap wins when he picks against the White Sox.
Dodgers and A's. Money line. Kept it simple. The rest of us.
I was good. I nailed the under in the Cubs pods, and then the Red Sox and the Rays scored 1 run in Steinbrenner. Like, what are we doing, teams? 1 run, and it was a home run that went 315 feet, by the way. David Hamilton, he hit it 300. It was 321 feet, I think. And it literally went like this over the wall. It like literally boop.
And that park's getting about 3 home runs per game after the first series of the season.
Yeah.
So yesterday was a clunker. Pap is soaring right now. Things can turn around quickly. Kratz, you go first. Get on the board.
Yankees, money line. That's it. Give me that cash. Need to get back on the winning side.
AJ?
I got a big one today. I'm going big. I'm betting $200. So I'm going over 8 in the Giants-Phillies, over 9 in the Yankees-Rays because the Yankees are coming back home. They know that park well, even though they're the road team. And over 7.5 in the Cardinals and the Mets. And that gets me to plus 599. So 200 that puts me at a lot of money.
200 down.
Woo, 200 down.
Okay.
We're back, baby! We're back!
I'm going 200 down as well at a plus 150, which is a lot for me. Detroit run line over the Royals.
By the way, I just go continue because I just have to say something.
I have been on the Reese Olson train. I'll continue that, and I'll think that the Tigers bounce back from a tough past couple games against the Brewers, where KC also is coming off a bad series for them against the Yanks.
Kratz, have you ever seen the Righteous Gemstones, the show on HBO, Cinemax, whatever it's on?
I have.
No.
Do you know the son, the son that has the hair kind of like yours? When you just said that, you sounded just like him.
Oh.
What's his name?
I know who you're talking about. The guy from the show.
From
the show with the 3 guys with the job. That they're bad at their jobs.
Yes.
I can't remember all that. But yes, he's
what is
really
his
good.
name?
He's in some of those singing movies.
Yes.
He's like.
Yeah, you sounded just like him.
All right, good.
I forget what his name is in that show.
He's funny, and he's good. All right, BetMGM account holders, you'll receive any sport parlay boost tokens. You can score a bigger payout, so check it out. I mean, I prefer baseball, but
Kelvin.
you do you.
Kelvin.
His name's Kelvin?
Kelvin.
Okay.
Kelvin.
But you do you at BetMGM.com. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
So we're working with Inside Edge because we love what they do. This is the best stat service in baseball, and we've been putting up clips on socials. Let's run through a couple recent ones. You know who has the most homers in the last 2 weeks in baseball? This is just a basic stat.
I just read it.
Mark
Who?
Trout.
Marcus?
Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael. He's back.
That helped. You know,
It helped that he played those 3 games in Steinbrenner.
That helps.
He had a couple that were.
Perry Minasian has talked, the GM of the Angels, about the move for Trout to right field, and they feel really confident about it. And they've been doubling down on the fact that they said they essentially feel like they can't hold him back if he was a DH, and that he would take hundreds and hundreds of swings. It's almost like a kid where they need to distract him, because they're like, he's a man. He's a superstar in our sport. We're not going to tell him what to do. We can give him advice. But he essentially said that if they rolled him out as a DH, which is what some people, including me, thought that they should do more frequently, they were concerned that it would lead to injury, because he'll take 500 swings that day instead of much less if he's manning right field, and kind of learning a new position for him.
Yeah. Some guys don't swing a lot when they DH. Some guys swing all the time. But yeah, I mean, whatever it takes to keep him healthy, I'm all for it.
And I guess they think that, a lot of the injuries don't necessarily have to do with the outfield time, but the hitting and the base running.
Okay. Whatever it takes to keep him healthy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Makes a huge difference.
True.
Oh, he's not washed up too, by the way. This is our standard PSA for everybody's. Oh, Trout's washed up. He's not washed up. He's not washed up. He's on the field. He produces. That's it.
Agreed. This next one is a me special. Best batting average with 2 strikes over the last 14 days. That man.
Your third favorite player.
Yes. Luis Arráez, 417. He actually had a slow start first 10 days. Is there anyone on the planet that was worried?
No, he's going to get his hits.
He's the contact extraordinaire.
He is. And I don't know why people don't value that still.
It pisses me off.
I really don't know why. Getting hits still matters, Kratz. He doesn't walk. He doesn't strike out. He puts the ball in play. It still matters. I don't care what anyone says.
Isn't it important to have variety in your lineup, Kratz?
Everybody wants variety in their bullpen. Like the Rays that one year, they had a guy that threw from here, all the way down here, left side, here. Like it's good to have variety in your lineup too. But I'll tell you exactly why it's not valued, why players don't even look for it. Look at Luis Arraez's contract right now. How's that compared to dudes who hit 240 with a couple more dingers? It's pretty much the same. It's all about the dinger. And to me, there's tons of value in him. And I think that is why he's constantly sought after, traded for, because to me, there's value in it. Not everybody can do it, just like not everybody can hit 40 homers. He's elite.
Is he a great defender? No.
No, he doesn't have to be. He's not getting paid to defend. He's getting paid to get his base hits and do that kind of stuff.
He's not a mess either.
No, he's not terrible.
Yeah, the metrics don't like him, but when you watch him, you're not like, oh my gosh, this is a disaster. Yeah. I just think not only does the game undervalue him, but I would like to actually hear someone come out and speak about why they don't think that he's worth what his contract is, or why he gets traded so frequently. I think he's making about 15-ish this year, Kratz. So that's not nothing. I think this is the last year of Arb. Is he a free agent? Yeah, after this year, he's a free agent.
15? Oh, I didn't know he was making that. I thought
this is last year of Arb, dude.
Yeah.
I got to look up where he's at, but
I would question the fact that you won't hear somebody
14.
speak up about why he's not valued, because the people that are not valuing him are not forward-facing people. The forward-facing people are like Scott Servais, who loses his job because the team doesn't win. Like, managers, coaches on the field value a dude like this, and players that play with him value a dude like this. Is he a top 10 player in the game? No, absolutely not. But I honestly thought his salary was lower than this, so I'm glad he's getting that kind of money. $14 million? How many batting titles does he have? 2? 3?
Probably 2.
3.
Yeah. 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I thought it was 3. I thought it was one in both leagues.
That would be 2, but he has 3. He won one last year. He won with the Twins, he won with the Marlins, and he won with the Padres.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's right. And when it's 2 strikes, I mean, this has been going on for a while with someone like him, Stephen Kwan's like this. You're like, all right, here you go. I get excited to see someone with their ability to not only stay alive, but then turn it into offense with 2 strikes like that.
But Quan, remember Quan last year? They wanted him to hit more homers, and he lost some of his bat-to-ball skills. Like, let's just let the dude be himself. Why does he have to hit more homers? Like, he's a friggin' gnat. He's a flea at the top of the order, and it drives you crazy, Kratz. How many times, if you have a guy like Quan that can run, and he's a flea, and he just fouls off pitch after pitch after pitch, and then he gets on base, and then you're like, gosh, he's going to steal. And now we got to worry about him stealing, and your pitcher's out there going, gosh, I threw this guy 10 pitches, and he fouled off 8 of them. And then he got on base, and now he's going to steal. Like, that's a pain in the butt, man.
Playoffs too,
Wears
because
you
the
down.
pitching's better. Watch every Quan at bat in the playoffs. It was really good.
I think Quan's a better player than Luis Arráez.
Well, he's better defender and base runner too, so he's got that edge.
Yeah.
But obviously, we're on the high side with a guy like this. I'd love to debate it at some point with someone who's on the other side of the equation. We'll come back. We'll slap hands. We'll actually make sure that you're prepared for some really big weekend matchups, which we usually do on Friday, but we want to give you an extra teaser coming up. Hey, we've got our blog post up right now, the Roar blog from BetMGM. It's just 5 names that you need to know for the 2025 season. Kratz, AJ spoke about Hunter Brown. We'll give the people one more name, and then they have to go find the rest online. We're posting about it. Pick one.
I mean, how can we not talk about the same dude that is brought over and people don't really know much about him in the bullpen? We just talked about him earlier. Justin Martinez. Justin Martinez signed a team-friendly contract. Yes, I get it. He faded at the end of the year last year for a bullpen that struggled a little bit, but they were just talking about it. Jesse Friedman was just talking about it. He's throwing essentially a 90-mile-an-hour knuckleball to pair with his 100 to 101-mile-an-hour fastball. Like, that's 2-pitch elite mix that is closing games out for a team that started 11-7 and is going to be a World Series contender. Not a playoff contender, a World Series contender because of what they built. And if you go and spend money on a guy like Corbin Burns and you don't have a closer that's going to lock everything down, you're kind of SOL. Justin Martinez is that guy, and I don't think a lot of people know about him, especially since he kind of faded at the end and the Diamondbacks didn't make the playoffs last year. When you get to watch this guy in the playoffs, you're going to be like, the Dodgers and the Giants and the Padres have to face him every time they're losing? That's not what you want. This dude's elite.
I already locked him up too.
Like $18 million or something, right?
Over like 6 years or something like that. I mean, obviously he's got to go through the league minimum years and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm a believer. And then usually if you're doing that with a reliever too, like they know the guy. They've had him in there. They've had him in the system. They feel good about the character. So that's a good one they've got in their hands. And they're a contender among many in that division. All right, coming up next, we will run through a couple things you need to know from games coming up both today and a big pitching matchup series this weekend. But by the way, the Yankees are playing in Tampa starting tonight.
As a road team.
So we'll give that love for a minute.
Team? Grays? What?
Yeah. Hide the Yankee signs. Yankees had a monster series, great series for them against the Royals. Clark Schmidt's back, and now they get to go play in Tampa against the Rays in their own spring training home. That starts tonight.
Took that over.
That is a good idea. They are going to hit homers. Many, many homers.
Possibly. Hopefully
Most
for
likely.
Because when I win that 12 hunch tonight.
And I'll tell you what the weather's like down here lately. 82 every day. 80 to 85 basically every day.
With a little breeze blowing.
Yep.
It's getting warm.
Mm-hmm. And then we also have the Rangers and Dodgers firing up a series tomorrow. Obviously, we have FT tomorrow, so we can talk about this then too. But DeGrom versus Yamamoto Friday. Evaldi versus Roki Sasaki Saturday. Tyler Mahle, who's been great after his first start, was a little clunker, against Tyler Glasnow on Sunday. That is a stuff series.
Mm-hmm. That's a playoff matchups. Right?
It is.
All three of those are playoff matches. That looks like games 1 through 3 of a playoff series.
Wait, where's the opener? Is that not? Are we not doing the opener anymore? Like, these are marquee names. You're a hitter and you're going into it. You're like, well, AJ, not me. AJ's like, man, I want like maybe 2 of these games off. I don't know. Starters, we don't need to face these good pitchers.
Bring it. I didn't have that. I didn't have the itis. I never got the itis.
No?
I never got the itis. I took my lumps. I took my fair share of no itises.
This is the series. If you're a hitter, you go into it and you say, oh, man, this is going to be tough. Or you go into it and say, oh, I'm going to get these dudes because they're coming at you.
By the way, before we go, I got to say, I want everyone to see my shirt. It's for Bobby Jenks. It's from the White Sox. You can get it at White Sox Charities. Bobby has cancer. He has the cancer, and it's not good. So Bobby was number 45 right here. That's why it's Grinder Rule 45. Fight like it's the bottom of the ninth. And it's nice. For Bobby Jenks. It's for cancer research. It's for him. He's had a devastating month. He lost his house in the LA fires, and he now has really bad cancer. So if you're out there and you can look up, it's a really cool shirt. Again, it's for the White Sox charity. So if you find it in your heart it's a really comfortable shirt too. It's really soft and nice. But yeah, if you can find in your heart to give a little money to White Sox charities and to Bobby Jenks, it's appreciated. So thank you.
Thinking about you, Bobby. We'll see everyone tomorrow. FT fam, if you are looking for some of the comfiest clothing like soft shirts, but you also want to have that old school baseball vibe, then you better check out the AL History logos that just came out with Homage. There's the NL History as well, which Kratz is rocking with that old school Phillies P. You can't miss it too, Kratz.
It's huge. It's huge. And this is it goes back to an old time when you know the team was your absolute beast of a team in your city.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
And for me, expansion franchise, the Devil Rays. Okay, the Devil Rays had it going on. I love what they're bringing to the table. You can find plenty of Expos gear on there as well. They've got all kinds of collabs, Grateful Dead collab. If you like the starter jackets, go for it. T-shirts, they've got hundreds for you. FT fam, go check out homage.com/FoulTerritory for much more info. And you can use the code FoulTerritory to get 20% off if you're a first-time shopper. Couple minutes left. Kratz Hatz?
I mean, we got player development of strategic analyzing of the Padres, so why not wear it? Something about the brown. Why don't we have more teams with the brown in their logo? I love it.
Because for some reason, if you do brown and yellow wrong, it doesn't look good.
Because brown is not a really good color on a lot of people.
Yeah.
I agree, but it looks awesome. Their unis are sick.
Yeah.
Don't worry, they'll change them in a year. The Padres change uniforms more than Scott changes shirts.
I wish my high school changed our uniform. It was brown and yellow, and it was disgusting. They got some gold in there, and then it fixed it. But everyone always said, like, oh, we got the poop and piss colors.
Yeah.
It didn't look good.
Yeah.
It's true.
My buddy plays golf, and on his golf ball, he puts yellow on one side and brown on the one side. He goes, like my underwear, yellow in the front, brown in the back.
Oh, man. Oh, he's that guy. All right, so we got 1 minute left. I figure it's time. So Orlando has just weird vibes around hairdressing appointments. So
not for me.
I know, but you've been here for longer than I have. So found someone good. They moved because there was drama in one spot, moved to Kissimmee, said, hey, would you come to Kissimmee? It's 25 minutes from here, which is the same as my distance home. Cool. Went. Then a super weird rule popped up where they said no dudes allowed for haircuts. True story. So she left there, went to another spot. So it was just brief. I went there like 3 times. Yeah. There's some weird owners of salons.
No guys were allowed in the salon?
Just randomly one day. I think there was an issue with, a husband-wife owning the place. I don't know. Something that probably should be on Bravo reality show. But she was like, yeah, I can't have half my clients anymore. So then she moved again. And then she was closer to me again, closer to downtown.
You just went with the girl I told you to go to, Scott.
Yeah, I booked her. I'll see her in September.
Not my fault. She's popular.
I found
because she's good.
I found someone else, and she's wonderful.
It's not me, Scott. It's you.
Yeah, well, she's wonderful. Okay, she's right by the lake, so we're good now. Everything's fixed. The other one, by the way, moved out of the state. Too much drama.
She gone.
In Orlando. Here's her life talk.